Joshua, God tells Joshua to go and take the land. After the death of the Lord's servant Moses, the Lord said to Moses' helper, Joshua, the son of Nun, my servant Moses is dead. So you and all these people get up and cross the Jordan River to the land I am giving to the people of Israel. I have given you every place where the bottom of your footsteps, as I promised Moses. Your land will be from the desert and from Lebanon, as far as the big Euphrates River. It will be all the land of the Hittites to the great sea on the west. No man will be able to stand against you all the days of your life. I will be with you just as I have been with Moses. I will be faithful to you and will not leave you alone. Be strong and have strength of heart, for you will bring the people in to take this land which I promised to their fathers to give them. Only be strong and have much strength of heart. Be careful to obey all the law which my servant Moses told you. Do not turn from it to the right or to the left. Then all will go with everywhere you go. Then all will go well with you everywhere you go. This book of the law must not leave your mouth. Think about it day and night, so you may be careful to do all that is written in it. Then all will go well with you. You will receive many good things. Have I not told you, be strong and have strength of heart? Do not be afraid or lose faith, for the Lord your God is with you anywhere you go. Joshua tells the people to go. And then Joshua told the leaders of the people, go among the tents and tell the people, gather together the things you will need, for within 3 days you will cross this Jordan to go in to take the land the Lord your God is giving you for your own. To the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half-family group of Manasseh, Joshua said, remember what the Lord's servant Moses told you, saying, the Lord your God gives you rest and will give you this land. Your wives, your children, and your cattle will stay in the land Moses gave you on this side of the Jordan. But you and all your strong-hearted soldiers will cross the river dressed for battle in front of your brothers. You will help them until the Lord gives your brothers rest, as he has given you. Help them until they own the land the Lord your God is giving them. Then you will return to your own land. You will own what the Lord's servant Moses gave you on the east side of the Jordan. They answered Joshua, saying, we will do all that you have told us, and we will go anywhere you send us. We will obey you in all things, just as we obeyed Moses. Only may the Lord your God be with you as he was with Moses. Anyone who goes against what you say and does not obey all that you tell him to do, he will be put to death. Only be strong and have strength of heart. Rahab and the men sent to spy out the land. Then Joshua, the son of Nun, sent 2 men from Shittim to go in secret to learn about the land. He said to them, go and spy out the land in Jericho. So they went and came to the house of Rahab, a woman who sold the use of her body, and they stayed there. Then the king of Jericho was told, see, men of Israel have come here to spy out the land. So the king of Jericho sent word to Rahab, saying, Bring out the men who have come to you and have gone into your house, for they have come to spy out all the land. But the woman had taken the 2 men and hidden them. She said, yes, the men came to me, but I did not know where they were from. When it was time for the gate to be shut after dark, the men went out I do not know where they went. Be quick to go after them, for you will catch them. But she had brought them up to the roof and had hidden them under the grain she had put up there. Then men went after them on the road to the Jordan as far as the river crossing. As soon as those going after them had gone out, they shut the gate. Before they lay down, she came up to them on the roof, and she said to the men, I know that the Lord has given you the land. The fear of you has come upon us. All the people living in the land have become weak with fear because of you. For we have heard how the Lord dried up the water of the Red Sea for you when you came out of Egypt. We have heard how you destroyed the two kings of the Amorites, Sihon and Og, and the other side of the Jordan, on the other side of the Jordan. When we heard it, our hearts became weak. No man had strength of heart anymore because of you. For the Lord your God is God in heaven above and on earth below. Now I have shown you kindness, so I beg of you, promise me the Lord that you will show, promise me by the Lord that you will show me kindness to those of my father's house. Give me something to show that you will be faithful. Do not kill my father and mother and my brothers and sisters and all who belong to them. Save us from death. So the men said to her, our life for yours. If you do not tell anyone what we are doing, we will be faithful and show you kindness when the Lord gives us the land. Then she let them down by a rope through the window. She lived in her house that was built on top of the city wall. She said to them, go to the hill country, or those who are looking for you might find you. For 3 days hide yourselves there until those who are looking for you return. Then you may go on your way. Then the men said to her, we will be free from this promise you have made us swear, unless when we come into the land you tie this red rope in the window you let us down through. Bring your father and mother, your brothers, and all those of your father's house into your house. If anyone goes out through the doors of your house into the streets, his blood will be on his own head. We will not be guilty for his death, but if a hand is laid upon anyone who is with you in the house, his blood will be on our head, and we will be free from the promise you made us swear. If you tell anyone what we are doing, she said, let it be as you have said. Then she sent them away and tied the red rope in the window. They left and came to the hill country and stayed there for 3 days until those who were looking for them returned. The men had looked for them all along the road, but had not found them. Then the two men came down from the hill country, crossed over the Jordan, and came to Joshua the son of Nun. They told him all that had happened to them. They said to Joshua, for sure the Lord has given all the land into our hands. All the people living in the land have become weak with fear because of us. Israel crosses over the Jordan. Joshua got up early in the morning. He and all the people of Israel left Shittim and came to the Jordan, and they stayed there before they crossed. After 3 days, the leaders went among the tents. They told the people, when you see the special box of agreement of the Lord your God with the religious leaders carrying it, leave your places and follow it. Then you may know the way to go, for you have not passed this way before, but stay about 1,000 long steps away from it. Do not come near it. Then Joshua said to the people, Make yourselves holy, for tomorrow the Lord will do powerful works among you. Joshua said to the religious leader, take up the special box of agreement and cross over in front of the people. So they took up the special box of agreement and went in front of So they took the special box of agreement and went in front of the people. The Lord said to Joshua, today I will begin to give you honor in the eyes of all Israel. Then they may know that I will be with you just as I have been with Moses. Tell the religious leader who are carrying the special box of agreement, when you come to the water of the Jordan River, stand still in it. Then Joshua said to the people of Israel, come here, listen to the words of the Lord your God. And Joshua said, you will know that the living God is among you, because he will be sure to drive away from in front of you the Canaanite, the Hittite, the Hivite, the Pezerite, the Girashite, the Amorite, and the Jebusite. See the special box of the agreement of the Lord of all the earth is crossing in front of you in the Jordan. Now choose 12 men from the families of Israel, one for each family. The religious leaders who carry the special box of the agreement of the Lord of all the earth will rest their feet in the water of the Jordan. Then the water of the Jordan will be cut off. The water flowing down from above will gather together in one place. So the people left their tents to cross the Jordan. The religious leader carried the special box of the agreement in front of the people. They carried it to the Jordan and put their feet in the water. For the Jordan water floods during the time of gathering grain. Then the water flowing down from above stood and rose up in one place far away at Adam, the city beside Zarethan. The water flowing down toward the sea of the Arabah, the salt sea, was all cut off. So the people crossed beside Jericho. The religious leader who carried the special box of the agreement of the Lord stood on dry ground in the middle of the Jordan, and all Israel crossed on dry ground until all the nation had crossed the Jordan. Stones are set up. When all the nation had crossed the Jordan, the Lord said to Joshua, choose 12 men from the people, one man from each family. Tell them, take 12 stones from the middle of the Jordan. Take them from the place where the religious leaders' feet are standing. Carry them over with you, and lay them down in the place where you stay tonight. So Joshua called the 12 men he had chosen from the sons of Israel, one man from each family. And Joshua said to them, go into the middle of the Jordan in front of the special box of agreement of the Lord your God. Each of you take a stone on his shoulder, one for each of the 12 family groups of Israel. Let this be something special among you. Your children will ask you later, what do these stones mean to you? Then you will tell them that the water of the Jordan was cut off before the special box of the agreement of the Lord. When it crossed the Jordan, the water of the Jordan was cut off. So these stones will become something to remember to the people of Israel forever. The sons of Israel did as Joshua told them. They took up 12 stones from the middle of the Jordan, just as the Lord told Joshua. There was one stone for each family group of the sons of Israel. They carried them over with them to the place where they stayed and put them down there. Then Joshua set up 12 stones at the place where the feet of the religious leaders who carried the special box of the agreement were standing in the middle of the Jordan. They are there to this day. The religious leaders who carried the special box of agreement stood in the middle of the Jordan. They stood there until everything was finished that the Lord told Joshua to tell the people all that Moses had told Joshua. The people crossed in a hurry. When all the people were over, they watched the religious leaders carry the special box of the agreement to the other side. The sons of Reuben and Gad and the half family group of Manasseh crossed over, ready for battle before the people of Israel, just as Moses had told them. About 40,000 soldiers ready for battle crossed before the Lord to the desert plains of Jericho. On that day, the Lord gave Joshua honor in the eyes of all Israel. So they honored him as a great man, just as they had honored Moses all the days of his life. The Lord said to Joshua, "Tell the religious leaders who carried the special box of the agreement to come up from the Jordan." So Joshua told the religious leaders to come up from the Jordan. The religious leaders who carried the special box of the agreement of the Lord, who came up from the middle of the Jordan, when their feet stepped on dry ground, the water of the Jordan returned to its place. It flowed over its sides as before. The people came up from the Jordan on the 10th day of the first month. Then they stayed at Gilgal on the east side of the Jericho. Joshua set up at Gilgal the 12 stones they had taken from the Jordan. He said to the people of Israel, "Your children will ask their fathers sometime in the future, 'What do these stones mean?' Then let your children know that Israel crossed the Jordan on dry ground, for the Lord your God dried up the water of the Jordan before you until you had crossed. It was just as the Lord your God had done to the Red Sea, which he dried up before us until we had crossed. Now all the people of the earth may know that the hand of the Lord is powerful, so that you may fear the Lord your God forever." The religious act at Gilgal. All the Amorite kings west of the Jordan, and all the Canaanite kings by the sea heard how the Lord had dried up the water of the Jordan for the people of Israel until they had crossed, and their hearts became weak. There was no spirit in them anymore because of the people of Israel. Then the Lord said to Joshua, "Make knives for yourselves out of hard stone, and cut the piece of skin from the sex part of the sons of Israel as before." So Joshua made knives of hard stone. Then he had the sons of Israel go through the religious act at Gibbeth Haralath. Excuse my pronunciation. This is the reason why Joshua had them go through the religious act. All the males who had come out of Egypt, all the soldiers, had died in the desert on the way from Egypt. All the people who came out went through this act but all the people who were born in the desert on the way from Egypt had not gone through this religious act. For the people of Israel walked 40 years in the desert until all the men of war who came out of Egypt died, because they did not listen to the voice of the Lord. The Lord had promised them that he would not let them see the land he had promised to their fathers, to give us a land flowing with milk and honey. So Joshua went through the religious act on their children. Whom the Lord raised up in their place. For they had not gone through this religious act along the way. When the whole nation had gone through this religious act, they stayed in their places among the tents until they were healed. Then the Lord said to Joshua, Today I have rolled away from you the shame of Egypt. So the name of that place is called Gilgal to this day. The people of Israel stayed at Gilgal. They kept the Passover the evening of the 14th day of the month, on the desert plains of Jericho. On the very next day after the Passover, they ate some of the food of the land. They ate bread without yeast and dry grain. The bread from heaven stopped on the day after they had eaten some of the food of the land. So the people of Israel no longer had bread from heaven, but they ate food of the land of Canaan during that year. The captain of the Lord's army. When Joshua was by Jericho, he looked up and saw a man standing near him with his sword in his hand. Joshua went to him and said, Are you for us or for those who hate us? No, he said, I have now come as captain of the army of the Lord. Joshua fell on his face to the ground who worshipped and said to him, What has my Lord to say to his servant? The captain of the Lord's army said to Joshua, Take your shoes off your feet, for the place where you are standing is holy. And Joshua did so. Let me read that again. Are you for us or for those who hate us? No, he said, I have now come as captain of the army of the Lord. Joshua fell on his face to the ground and worshipped and said to him, What has my Lord to say to his servant? The captain of the Lord's army said to Joshua, Take your shoes off your feet, for the place where you are standing is holy. And Joshua did so. Jericho is destroyed. Now the gates of Jericho were all shut because of the people of Israel. No one went out and no one came in. The Lord said to Joshua, See, I have given Jericho into your hand with its king and soldiers. Walk around the city. Have all the men of war go around the city once. Do this for 6 days. 7 religious leaders will carry 7 ram's horns. They will walk in front of the special box of agreement. Then on the 7th day, you will walk around the city 7 times, and the religious leaders will blow horns. When you hear the long sound of the ram's horn, all the people should call out with a loud noise. The wall of the city will fall to the ground, and then all the people will go in the city. So Joshua the son of Nun called the religious leaders and said to them, Take up the special box of the agreement and let the 7 religious leaders carry 7 ram's horns in front of the special box of agreement. Then he said to the people, Go and walk around the city. Let the men ready for battle go in front of the special box of agreement. When Joshua had spoken to the people, the 7 religious leaders carrying the 7 ram's horns before the Lord walked and blew the horns, and the special box of the agreement of the Lord followed them. Then the men ready for battle went in front of the religious leaders who blew the horns. The other soldiers came behind the special box of the agreement while the horn sounded without stopping. But Joshua told the people, Do not call out or let your voice be heard. Not a word should come from your mouth until the day I tell you to call out. Then you must call out. So he had the special box of agreement taken around the city once. Then they returned to the tents and stayed there through the night. Joshua got up early in the morning, and the religious leaders took up the special box of agreement. The 7 religious leaders carrying the 7 ram's horns in front of the special box of agreement began walking and blowing the horns without stopping. The men ready for battle went in front of them. The other soldiers came behind the special box of agreement, and the horns sounded without stopping. The second day they walked around the city once. Then they returned to the tents. They did this for 6 days. On the 7th day, they got up early at the rising of the sun. They walked around the city in the same way, but on that day, they walked around the city 7 times. The 7th time, when the religious leaders blew their horns, Joshua said to the people, "Call out, for the Lord has given you the city. The city and all that is in it must be destroyed, because everything in it belongs to the Lord. Only Rahab, the woman who sells the use of her body, and all who are with her in the house will live, because she hid the men we sent. But keep yourselves from the things that are to be destroyed, or while you give them up to be destroyed, you might desire them. Then you would make the camp of Israel sinful also, and bring trouble on it. But all the silver and gold and objects of brass and iron are holy to the Lord. They will go into the storehouse of the Lord." So the people called out, and the religious leaders blew the horns. When the people heard the sounds of the horns, they called out even louder, and the wall fell to the ground. All the people went straight in and took the city. They destroyed everything in the city, both men and women, young and old, cattle, sheep, and donkey, with the sword. Joshua said to the 2 men who had spied out the land, Go into the house of the woman who sells the use of her body. Bring out the woman and all who are with her, as you promised her." So the young men who had spied out the land went in and brought out Rahab and her father and her mother and brothers and all she had. They brought out all of her family and took them outside the tents of Israel. Then they burned the city with fire and all that was in it. Only the silver and gold and objects of brass and iron they put into the storehouse of the holy tent of the Lord. Joshua saved the life of Rahab, the woman who sold the use of her body, and those of her father's house, and all she had. She has lived among Israel to this day, because she hid the men Joshua had sent to spy out Jericho. Then Joshua made them promise at that time, saying, "May the Lord destroy the man who gets up and builds this city of Jericho with the loss of his firstborn. He will begin to build it with this." Let me read that over. Slack. Then Joshua made them promise at that time, saying, May the Lord destroy the man who gets up and builds this city of Jericho. With the loss of his firstborn, he will begin to build it. With the loss of his youngest son, he will set up its gates. So the Lord was with Joshua. He was well known and respected in all the land. Achan said, But the people of Israel sinned with the things that were to be destroyed. Achan, the son of Carmi, the son of Zabdi, the son of Zerah, from the family of Judah, took some of the things that were to be destroyed. So the Lord was very angry with the people of Israel. Joshua sent men from Jericho to Ai, which is near Beth Aven, east of Bethel. He said to them, Go and spy out the land in secret. So the men went and spied Ai. When they returned to Joshua, they said, Do not have all the people go there. Only about 2,000 to 3,000 men need to go to Ai. Excuse my pronunciation. Do not make the whole army fight, for the people of Ai are few. So about 3,000 men of Israel went, but they ran away from the men of Ai. The men of Ai killed about 36 of their men and ran after them from the gate as far as Shebarim, and they killed more on the way down. So the hearts of the people became weak; they became like water. Then Joshua and the leaders of Israel tore their clothes. They fell with their faces on the ground in front of the special box of agreement until evening, and they put dust on their heads. Joshua said, "O Lord God, why did you ever bring this nation over the Jordan, only to give us into the hand of the Amorites to be destroyed? If only we had been willing to live on the other side of the Jordan. O Lord, what can I say? Israel has turned their backs in front of those who fight against them. The Canaanites and all the people living in the land will hear of it. They will gather around us and destroy our name from the earth. Then what will you do for your great name?" The Lord said to Joshua, "Get up. Why have you fallen on your face? Israel has sinned. They have gone against my agreement which I told them to keep. They have even taken some of the things that were to be destroyed. They have stolen and lied, and they have put them among their own things. That is why the people of Israel cannot stand in front of those who fight against them. They turn their backs in front of those who hate them because they are being punished. I will not be with you anymore unless you destroy the things among you that should be destroyed. Get up, set apart the people, and say, 'Make yourselves holy for tomorrow, for the Lord, the God of Israel, has said, there are things among you which should be destroyed. O Israel, you cannot stand in front of those who fight against you until you take away the things among you which should be destroyed. In the morning you must come near by your family groups. Then the family group which the Lord takes must come near by families. The family which the Lord takes must come near by tents, and the tent which the Lord takes must come near man by man. Then the one who is taken with the things which should have been destroyed must be burned with fire, he and all that belongs to him, because he has sinned against the agreement of the Lord. He has done an act of shame in Israel." So Joshua got up early in the morning and brought Israel nearby. So Joshua got up early in the morning and brought Israel nearby family groups. The family group of Judah was taken. He brought the family group of Judah near, and he took the family of the Zerahites. He brought the family of the Zerahites near, man by man. Zabdi was taken. Then he brought those of Zabdi's tent near by man by man. And Achan, son of Carmi, son of Zabdi, son of Zerah, from the family of Judah, was taken. Joshua said to Achan, "My son, I beg you, give honor and praise to the Lord, the God of Israel. Tell me now what you have done. Do not hide it from me." Achan answered Joshua, saying, "It is true, I have sinned against the Lord, the God of Israel. This is what I did. I saw among what was left of the city a beautiful coat from Shinar. I saw 200 pieces of silver and a large piece of gold as heavy as 50 pieces of silver. I had a desire for them and took them. See, they are hidden in the ground inside my tent with the silver under it." So Joshua sent men to the tent. They found it with the silver under it. They took these things from inside the tent and brought them to Joshua and all the people of Israel, and they laid them down before the Lord. Then Joshua and all Israel took Achan, the son of Zerah, the silver, the coat, the large piece of gold, his sons and daughters, his cattle, donkeys, sheep, tent, and all that belonged to him. They brought them to the valley of Achor. And Joshua said, "Why have you brought trouble upon us? The Lord will trouble you this day." Then all Israel threw stones at him. After that they burned them with fire, stones over him that stand to this day. Then the Lord was no longer angry. The name of the place has been called the Valley of Achor to this day.